All right, we are live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris. This is my channel, Barnun 11970, and I want to thank you all for taking the time to listen to what I'm going to say, because when you hear it, this is pretty much going to be blowing your mind. It's very mind-blowing stuff. I just wanted to first do a little shameless plug, because I've been out of work since March, so I wanted to share this information with a cashback program. If you sign up for it, and I'll put the link in the description and in the live chat, if you click on it and sign up and spend $40 or more within the first 90 days of signing up, you will get a $40 cashback bonus. I just wanted to mention that. You don't have to sign up. It's free to do. Just check restrictions. But if you sign up and you spend the $40, I get a one-time referral fee. So it's a way to help keep me going, and it helps you as well. All right, so with that out of the way, there was some information I got from a friend last night that sounded too good to be true until I ended up verifying it to make sure it was true. And this is one of the biggest things I recommend for people to do, is to verify information. So I will post a link to one of many places that you can check to verify this to be true. Now, whether you're a Trump fan or a Biden fan, that's up to you. Okay? I'm not here to tell you how to think. My channel is never about telling you this is the only way or this is the way. All I can do is explain my way, and you'll see if it resonates with you or not. Okay? Now, whether you like Trump or not, this should be about a fair election. Now, if you watch my video, The Truth About the United States Law and You, especially the extended version, there's two different versions, it will tell you, and I've been saying this since 2012, that your votes don't really count. It's not that you can't go and place a vote, but it's the people who tabulate the votes that really control the outcome. It's been happening for a very, 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 very long time. And many people believe, and if it's your belief or not your belief, again, that's fine, it's up to you, is that Trump is trying to bring us back to an older way where it seemed more of a fair election. Whether that's true or not remains to be seen. You have the right to your own opinion. But what I'm about to tell you is going to definitely blow your mind. So thank you for being patient. Now, in order to get the best results of exposing corruption, I know, and I was one of them, where I said, why aren't they putting these people in prison? Why are people not going to jail? Well, if, for example, you catch somebody selling drugs on the street, a lot of times they will try and get that person to do what they call flip. In other words, they will give that lower end person a deal and say, if you tell me somebody of higher importance, we'll either give you a lesser, punishment, or we'll let you go. Because they're more interested in the bigger fish, if you understand what I mean. Okay? So, this whole past 4 years has basically exposed what most people would have thought was just regular life. They've exposed the media, which is definitely now shown Fox News to be part of that corrupt system. They've exposed the people that are supposedly the poll takers, because they said that Hillary Clinton was going to win by a landslide in the 2016 election, and Biden was going to win with a landslide, and there would be this big blue wave, and nobody picked Trump. It exposed politicians, independent, Democrat, and even some Republicans for who they are. It exposed Hollywood for who they are. Social media for who they are. Now, first you have to out the people to get people, even that were asleep, to see there's something not right. when it came to this election, because before this it's basically been a C-election. That's why you've only seen wealthy people become president. You've never heard in the entire lifespan of the United States of America Corporation, you have never seen a poor president. They're selected. You're told that you have freedom of choice, and yet it's always a Democrat or a Republican every single time. It's the illusion of choice. Again, I won't get into that. But this is what I think is happening. That you first had to expose the corruption to even some of the sleeping people, or the ones that weren't sure. Then you had to allow them to entrap themselves, because you cannot catch a rat if you do not set a trap. So, this is what I found interesting. One of Trump's main concerns was the court system, because if you notice, the last 3 judges that were appointed were originalists and constitutionalist judges. Now, it doesn't matter conservative or liberal. The main focus of these judges were they were constitutionalists and originalists. Now, what does that mean? An originalist means they base the laws on the original documents that were written by our forefathers. They do not interpret them. They say, even though this was written hundreds of years ago, that particular meaning still is valid today and will forever be. Ski, I worry about information, not music. So if you're not interested in what I have to say, there's thousands of other places you can watch and listen. I'm not a music channel. But thank you for your suggestion. Okay, so, again, the court system. He made sure he got everybody confirmed before he made any moves. Now, is he going to make these moves or not? We're going to find out. So if the moves aren't made, then we're going to know it's a bunch of BS. But here's where it gets interesting. We have now 6-3 majority. Judge Roberts, undetermined, even though he's supposed to be conservative, majority in the court. So that's all confirmed. That's not going to change. If you remember, or at least know about, whether you were part of it because of you're old like me, I just turned 50 yesterday, or you're somebody at least learned it in school, you know about the 2000 election with Al Gore and George Bush. And it was undecided. Now here's the couple of interesting things. This is just a little extra. This is not the mind-blowing part. They basically said for the first 30 days that it was Gore who was going to be president. So after the voting and after the controversy with Florida and everything, there was no actual winner, but the media for the next 30 days was saying it was Al Gore. Well, they took it to court, and it ended up George Bush became president. Now, George Bush is a war criminal, in my opinion, and he's done a lot of things to help destroy the country, which a lot of presidents, both Democrat and Republican, have done. But I think one of the reasons why people wanted to have Trump in, and again, there were definitely very powerful people that put him in to have the ability to win, so make no mistake that there were people that wanted him in. They had to first expose everybody, then they had to have constitutionalists in the Supreme Court to fight this. And here's the mind-blowing part. The following 2 people were involved in the Al Gore George Bush decision that brought George Bush into office. Now, whether that's a good thing or not, I'll leave that up to you. Like I said, George Bush was one of the people I consider a war criminal. Okay? But the following 2 judges were involved in the Al Gore George Bush case. Judge Brett Kavanaugh and Judge Amy Coney Barrett. And I just posted a link in the live chat of one of many places that you can verify this. Now, isn't that quite interesting that Donald Trump specifically wanted these two in the Supreme Court? And why also the Democrats fought so hard to prevent them from becoming Supreme Court judges. I find that incredibly interesting. Now, they are taking it to court. They have lots of evidence. The media is trying to pretend none of this exists. The media does not do research. The media does not question. The media just reports and regurgitates. And that, again, includes Fox News. And as a matter of fact, the only news station that I will listen to right now, and if you haven't heard of them, I highly recommend them, is Newsmax or Right Side Broadcasting. Those are the only two places now, and you can find both of them on YouTube. Newsmax TV and Right Side Broadcasting. They ask questions. They have still not said there is a winner in the presidency. That's the type of news reporting you need. Investigative, asking questions. Now, are they perfect? Of course not. They do the typical thing that everybody does in newscasting, is they interview somebody and they only have a limited time, so they don't allow the person to speak completely, and they do kind of cut them off every now and then. I guess that's mandatory if you're a news channel. If I had a news channel, I would basically, if I had the ability to, for example, interview Rudy Giuliani, I would ask the tough questions, but I would also allow him to speak without interruption. So, I feel a trap has been set. They are taking them to court. The media has been exposed. All media, again, including Fox News. I've been saying that for a while. I didn't trust them. I always say it's okay to listen to people because you want to get all sides of a story so you can build a better picture. And again, I can say all this stuff because I, at one point back in 2008, used to be a full-fledged Democrat. I used to love watching MSNBC and listening religiously daily to Rachel Maddow and Chris Matthews. I would never waste my energy on any of those. And now, and like for example, when they did the on Fox News, they had the four panelists always talking, and that one purely liberal guy, I forget his name. He was the African American gentleman, and it has nothing to do with race. But he was clearly liberal, and he, every time he spoke, I just shut it off. But they allowed him on. And then you see during the debates, the guy Chris from Fox News, who did the first one, you could clearly see the bias and how easily people are tainted. But it had to be exposed. There are watermarks, the rumors are, on these ballots, and there are many people filing affidavits, and there are many whistleblowers, and because this also exposed the U.S. Postal Service as corrupt. Type in U.S. Postal Service lost mail, and you will see in the past 6 to 8 months a lot of local news stations reporting arrests for postal workers for throwing out, destroying, or trying to hide mail. All tend to have one thing in common, and that's ballots. Now, I can't say whether the ballots have been changed or not because I'm not there. But I will never automatically dismiss something or automatically accept something at face value, because we're learning that most of the things that we grow up believing to be true are not. Is Trump a savior? I don't know. Could he be? Sure. Could it be a ruse to trap people even further? Absolutely. So I am not giving my loyalty to anyone unless they earn it. But if Trump ends up taking him to court and had the Supreme Court set up in a way that had two people that were involved in the last situation of the Al Gore, George Bush presidency, in Brett Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett, Judge Roberts was also a part of that as well, but he seems to be a little bit more liberal than he admits. Because he was working with Jeb Bush at the time. But to me, this is either one heck of a coincidence, one heck of a setup, or one heck of a lie. By their deeds you shall know them. Now, I know there are people saying that all systems are corrupt, and I thoroughly understand that. I've been telling people about that since 2012. Well, we're not the Jetsons, we're not the Flintstones. We don't live in an alternate reality. If you have an alternate reality that you can suggest that we go to, let me know. I'll be the first one to sign up and line up. But right now, this is the world that we live in. We have to live in the environment that's provided to us. This, to me, suggests that good things are coming. Potential good things. Now, of course, if you are in the United States of America Corporation, you are a debt slave. I've talked about this many times. But what if, and this is a big what if there are certain people in power that are jealous of other people in power, or didn't like the direction some people in power were going, and they decided to do a better thing for us? It's possible. It's not impossible. In an infinite universe, anything is possible. It's what you want to connect to. And what I want to connect to is potentially, and I will give him the benefit of the doubt unless he proves me wrong, and then I will call him out. Maybe Donald Trump was placed in there because he was the one person that could absorb all of the attacks like no one I've ever seen, beat them at their own game, play the game of 4D chess, and trap people without knowing it. Now, there's also the devil's advocate on my side, that if I know this stuff and other people are talking about it, how can the other side not know it? So this could be a big game for all of us. Notice how I keep an open mind on everything. I'm not saying this is the scenario and this is the only way. I am keeping an open mind, and that's what I suggest for anybody, whether you're Democrat, Republican, whether you're in some other country. Because if you're one person in another country and you're saying, death to America, and you're happy that chaos is happening, and you hope that you see a civil war because it'll make you feel entertained, just remember, the US dollar, whether you like it or not, is the #1 currency in the world. If this economy collapses, it's going to affect the world. Because remember, thanks to Richard Nixon, the entire world chose, remember that word, chose to take their own individual countries off the gold standard. So every single country chose to do that, which means they all work together. Whether you want to admit that or not, whether you see that or not. So since nothing as of now is really connected to gold standards. Now, you can debate whether China's doing that or not. No one's made it official. But since they are all connected to the US dollar, if that ship sinks, the other ships go with it. So there's an old saying, be careful what you wish for, you may get it. I want you all to pay attention to this, because whether you are the most spiritual person in the world, or the most liberal person in the world, or the most conservative person in the world, whether you only believe in God and Jesus, whether you believe in Buddha, whether you meditate, whatever, this is the world you live in. Like it or not, what happens in the outside world affects us all. So pay attention to what's going on, and don't let time just slip by and let it fade away. Pay attention to this stuff. I find that very interesting now that I know that Trump has Amy Coney Barrett and Brett Kavanaugh in the Supreme Court, and they both were in part of the Al Gore, George Bush 2000 election situation. What happens with it? I guess we're going to find out. You can like it, you can hate it, you can disagree with it, you can choose to go another way. The one thing about my channel is I tell you to think for yourself. So you can 100% disagree with what I say. You can 100% ignore what I said. You can even hate it. But at least know that when you come here, you have that ability. I'm not like MSNBC or CNN or Fox News or Hollywood, where they say this is the only way, and if you don't think that way, you're a sexist, or you're a racist, or you're a homophobe, or you're a bad person. I don't judge. Now, the Italian in me, when somebody gets nasty and everything, sometimes I do the wrong thing and I'll snap back. It's also the New Yorker, or ex-New Yorker, I mean the Scorpio in me. And I've been learning over the years to take more responsibility for that and trying to find a better way. But make no mistake, with all the things that are going on with the plandemic and the misinformation, it has affected us all. Now, we can get angry, we can get depressed, or we can find a way for all of us to unite once again. And that's the only way to bring us to harmony. And sometimes you have to end and expose tyranny to be able to do that. Now, does that mean, let's just say best case scenario, Trump, everything I said about what Trump is doing is right. They expose all these people. The media gets shut down or changed forever. The Democrats get exposed and changed forever. The Hollywood gets exposed and changed forever. Let's say best case scenario, President Trump stays in office. Everybody seems to be happy. Does that mean we've reached a utopia? I highly doubt it. Does that mean there's no more corruption? I would be shocked if that were true. But would we be better off than what would be if, let's be real, Kamala Harris becoming president? Time will tell. One of the things I've been learning in the past few weeks is you may not know the path you're traveling, where it's going, or what's ahead. But if you realize, even if you struggle, and trust me, I've struggled. I've been unemployed now since March. I've gotten depressed every now and then. It's been not easy. I've been fighting it, and I've been working on it. But, like, for example, yesterday for my 50th birthday, because I live in Florida and just moved here, and because the past 8 months I haven't worked, since I've been here, I haven't had the chance to gain any friends. None of my family lives here. So I spent my 50th birthday, which is a big number, basically by myself. My wife was here, and I love her to death. She made me a cake and everything, but she had to work all day. So I sat in my room by myself. So I understand what it's like to be upset. But here's what I've learned. If you are traveling on a path, trust it. Even if you don't know where it's heading. Because if you notice, even when you struggle, even when bad things happen, you still always have enough just to get by. Even if everything's taken from you, you're still alive, you're still breathing. At the last minute, something always comes up. Okay? I've lost 2 of my cats since I've moved here. One, was connected to my father, who died in 2012 in a fire. My way of life has been altered in ways I cannot imagine. It's been a true test. And sometimes, to move forward, you have to pull back, and you have to think of life like an arrow. The more you pull back, the further it's going to fly forward. Well, my bow has been pulled to the maximum in the backward direction. But that just means I'm going to launch forward. Just because you don't know the path you're headed does not mean it's not going to take you where you need to be. So trust in it, and if you don't question it, good things will come your way. If you are riding down a road and you don't know where it goes, if you stop just to cry or get mad, or you turn around, will you end up going forward? No, you'll go backward. You ever wonder why most people's lives are very repetitive? Just imagine yourself physically on a road. You're trying to go to another destination. You cannot see the road before you, so you get scared and you stop, or you get scared and you turn around. Does that help you progress forward? No. So trust that the road was there to guide you somewhere. The beautiful thing about roads is there's an infinite way to go. But why would you want to go backwards? Why would you want to stop? Sometimes you want to stop to smell the roses. But if you spend your whole life doing that, you go nowhere. So we are our own worst enemies. So regardless who ends up becoming president, regardless of what happens, you are responsible and I am responsible for our lives and what we do with them. It is okay to feel down every now and then. It's what you do with it that matters. Like I said, I was not the happiest camper for my 50th birthday party, where I pretty much had to spend the day alone. My wife wanted to even take the day off, but couldn't. She was the one good thing about that day, and the kind people like yourselves that gave me the birthday wishes. But it motivated me to do this video, and I got information last night that helped inspire this video. So it shows that things can happen if you don't give up. So what's going to come of this situation? I don't know. You don't know. We could speculate, we can guess. Anything can happen. But just trust you're on the right path, and it's okay to feel bad sometimes. Because, like, for example, there was somebody the other day from one of the videos I've done, I don't remember which one, said you really shouldn't put negative energy out there. Now, I can understand where they're coming from, but when it comes to the universe, you have positive and you have negative. You can't control that. One cannot exist without the other. It's called balance. The reason for negativity is so you can have a choice, and the only way you can have a choice is if you know two sides of a coin. You can't appreciate a good summer without a horrible winter. You can't appreciate happiness unless you're sad. You can't appreciate what you have until you lose something. So negativity it has to exist whether you want it or not. The problem is nobody faces it, and if you don't face it, you cannot understand it, and you cannot make a choice of what you don't want. So if you see it as, okay, here's a negative thing in my life, now I know it exists, I choose to not have it, or choose to not let it beat me down, you can move away from it. That's the ironic part. The more you ignore it, the longer it stays. So the negative part is for you to make a choice, or at least have the ability to make a choice. Whether you do that or not is up to you. Because if you've seen some of my past videos, one of the biggest videos I said is the number one strongest thing in the universe is choice. Because many people, when I said, they would get the answer wrong, many people said the number one thing is love. Well, can you choose who you love and don't love? Do you love everybody the same way? I doubt it. So choice is the number one most powerful thing in the universe. So if choice is the number one most powerful thing in the universe, then you have to have choice, which means something you want and something you don't want. So that means something that is quote-unquote positive and something that is quote-unquote negative. So if you're afraid to face the negative part, you'll never get to experience it as a choice to make of whether you want it or don't want it. Think of it this way. Let's say a mosquito is attacking you. If you do nothing, what do you think the instinct of that mosquito is going to be? It's going to be to bite you. So you have to learn that, okay, I don't want that mosquito by me, and if I do nothing, it allows that mosquito to do what I don't want. So now I could make the choice of, okay, go away, mosquito, shush, or kill it if you want to. But you have to make a choice, because if you stand there and do nothing, the world affects you in the way you don't want. If you're in the middle of the ocean and you decide to stand there and cry or kneel and pray while you're in the middle of the ocean, you are going to drown. Whether you like it or not, whether it's fair or not, getting on your knees and praying is not going to save you. Moving your arms and kicking your legs will keep you afloat. In other words, action. So if you don't like the water and you're in the water, well, you now know, okay, the water's cold, the water's wet, the water could be deadly. I could sit here and do nothing and probably drown or freeze to death, or I can do everything I can to get out of it. You are now aware of the negativity, and you use it as a tool to better your situation. It's how you look at things, and it's what you do with them. So yes, I was very upset yesterday. I wasn't happy. My 50th birthday I spent basically by myself, and I was upset about that. But look what it's done the very next day. I turned that lemon into lemonade. And I guarantee you, something I've said in this video from somebody watching, either now live in the live chat or later on, even though YouTube will block it and they'll demonetize it like they always do, it shows that you can do anything. So will the situation with the Trump and Biden thing resolve itself? Well, in one way or another it will. How it affects you depends on what you do with it. Don't be afraid of negative things coming before you, because the longer you avoid it, the longer it stays. That mosquito, its nature is to survive by drinking your blood. If you do nothing but cry or hold up a sign saying it's unfair, or pray and wish and hope and meditate that that mosquito will go away, it will continue to do what its nature is. So you suffer through your inactivity or your inability to acknowledge a negativity in your life. That's why don't see things as impossible, see them as challenges. I had a big challenge yesterday to get out of the mood that I was in. And this has helped. I did that. So you could sit there your whole life and do nothing, feel sorry for yourself, or claim you're a victim, and you'll get the very thing that that you're claiming, because you're not doing anything. You cannot win a race you think you cannot win, and you thereby do not participate in. People are so afraid to fail, they never even try. And then you make that true. So as usual, I will go on my rants. I will go in different directions. But I think people, for the most part, that are able to listen to my videos appreciate that. So 65 people are watching out of my 47,000 subscribers. YouTube will flag this and demonetize it. So if anybody wants to join my Patreon, or they want to send a donation or a super chat, or they want to do that cashback program that I mentioned in the beginning of this, it will help. You don't have to. It's not a requirement. I will never charge anybody to get information. But if anybody wants to support the channel, like I said, the money that I get goes towards helping all the stray cats that I help outside. So what you do is up to you. So thank you, Awake24, for the happy birthday. It was yesterday, but I appreciate it. Al Sheba and everybody else, it was very kind of you. So it's okay to be positive. But if you're afraid to face negativity, you never change it. And you never realize, because like I've said, you need realize to realize. You have to have the ability of choice, which means A or B, or A, B, and C, or A through infinity. If you ignore certain equations, you'll never know if you made the right choice or not. So instead of spending your whole life saying things like, oh, don't put negative energy in the world, say, if there is negative energy, I now have the ability to choose whether I want it or not. And then it doesn't matter, because everything has the right to exist, even something you may view as negative. That mosquito has every right to exist, just like you do. If you make a call that says you have more of a right to exist than that mosquito, well, that's your ego talking. Because I guarantee you, if the mosquito had the same consciousness as we do, it would say it has the choice and the right to live. Both are right. It's how we work with each other. You want to not get bitten by a mosquito? Well, you could not go outside. You could wear thicker clothing. You can do things like put peppermint essential oil on your skin that prevents them from wanting to go near you. It's what you do. Because if you do nothing, the world will do it for you. You ever notice why a lot of things that are being done are not what you like? So what happens with the situation with Trump and, I'm going to say, Kamala Harris, because Biden ain't going to be president for 4 years, even if he is president. And nothing is official now. The news is lying to you. If you give them your energy, all you're doing is helping them to make money. That's why they've been doing this for the past 4 years. Is Trump in on it? It's not impossible. So I keep an open mind towards everything. And I follow my instinct and my heart. I don't follow my head. Your heart will always guide you in the right direction. That's why when people are passionate, what do? You put your heart into it. So trust your heart. Stop listening to your mind. Your mind is filled with ego. It's a computer that processes information. It does not think a single thing. How can you invent or come up with something or think of something in an infinite universe where everything already exists? All you're supposed to do is use your heart to follow your highest passion, and it will guide you where you need to be. So when you're in an area you don't want to be, your heart reacts with sadness, depression, anger. And it stays that way until you do something to get out of it. What you do with that is up to you. So if you liked this video and appreciate anything I talked about, hit that thumbs up button. Check the description of this video. There's a lot of different links of things that you can join, or discounts, or, even I accept bitcoins and stuff like that. I mean, like I said, no one ever has to do anything, but if you do, it will definitely be a nice gesture that will be appreciated. But you will never see me say, like some channels out there, that, oh, if you want to join my PayPal, for example, you'll get all exclusive stuff. No, that means you're paying to get information. I don't offer that. I have a Patreon for people who want to put anything in. But you're not going to get anything extra there, because you can get it all here without having to give me anything. So again, it always comes down to choice. So thank you for participating. Anybody that likes it or shares it definitely helps. Hit subscribe if you haven't. Check my videos periodically. I have way over 1,000 videos at this point. Many of them hopefully have information that can help you. So check out my other YouTube videos. And if you're into comic books at all, I have another channel called We Love Comics. If you want to check it out, I'd love your support there. So thanks for listening. I would love to know what you think about all this. Stay safe. Don't be afraid of negativity. Face it and choose something better. And all of a sudden your life will change. At the very least, it won't be in the situation that you are not happy with. Sometimes the unknown is better than the known. But most people do the opposite. They stay with the known, even if it's bad, being afraid of the unknown, instead of seeing it as an opportunity. And I'll show you how beneficial the unknown can be. Ever have a surprise birthday party? Ever get a present that you don't know what's inside? Think about that. Somebody gives you a present for your birthday. You don't know what's inside. Have you ever in your life said, I am not going to open this box, I don't know what's in it. I'm scared to death. It could be a bomb. It could be a snake. It could be something that draws me in and takes me to some parallel universe. You ever think any of that? No. That's ridiculous, isn't it? You ever open a present and get something horrible? I mean, you might get a gag gift. You might get something you don't really like, but have you ever opened a present from a friend or a family member that loves you and cares about you? Have you ever opened a present and it horrified you to the point you wanted to die? I highly doubt it. Surprises and the unknown can be fun. And fear can also keep you from putting your head into a crocodile's mouth. Playing high-five games with a scorpion. A roller coaster can be scary, but isn't a roller coaster for most people quite fun? It's how you look at it. So before this goes into a 24-hour video, I want to thank everybody for listening. If you haven't heard the whole thing, I hope you will. A lot of times I say things and go into different rants, but they all serve a purpose. And think of it this way. I don't play the music that people want in the background. I don't have a fancy green screen with all pretty things to look at. I don't edit my videos to make myself seem politically correct or in the way that you prefer. I don't edit my videos in any way. I don't have a script of what I'm going to say. I just say, this is what I want to... I just want to make a video. And then I go. You can do that too. Unless you say you can't, then you won't. You will always make your truth right, even if it's what you don't want. So thanks for listening. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my day. I'm going to sit back, watch the fireworks shows that are coming, but good things are going to be coming. It may not be perfect, but you know what? If we had a perfect world, you'd get bored real quick. Sometimes challenges are what keeps your mind functioning. So thanks for listening. Have a great day. I will see you all next video. Much love to you all.